How are you doing, Becky?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. So I really like the setup you guys have. It's really nice. This is the first time I'm actually holding it. Usually I use the arms, but it's all right. It's all cool. So I say this all the time, but I swear it's true that you are one of the top people that people are asking me about. Because at first I didn't know how to find you. I knew the place, Wynie Mae's, because my wife goes here. She has like an appointment, I think, next week. But I was like, I can't find the person named Winnie. Like, I don't know where Wynie Mae's is. Until I think it was Katie Heine. She told me your name, Bekki, and then she gave me the email and everything. I'm like,
Yeah, Winnie was my grandma.
Okay. So how did that start?
In 2011, I wanted to kind of, I don't know, I felt like called, I guess, in a way. I wanted to make my own like soap and tinctures and lotions and salves and things like that. And I wanted to make them, kind of the old recipes that you would find. They call it an old wives' tale. Like, how did prairie people do this?
Yeah, yeah.
And my grandma Winnie is my dad's mom. She passed away in the 90s. She was the kind of grandma that was like, okay, you're got a sore throat, we're going to gargle with salt water, or these kind of home remedies for things. And she had an amazing green thumb. Like, she could grow any flowers and plants so beautifully. And so I was kind of inspired by that. It was just like when people say they're called to do something. I was just called to do that. So I started making stuff and playing around with it in my kitchen. And I launched a website, and it was called, Wynie Mae's Essentials. And then I kind of was looking around town. I was working at the university at the time and was like, oh, maybe a spa would be something cool. And it's where I could use like my bath salts and do salt clothes and sugar scrubs and different things like that. So instead of rebranding and doing everything else, I just started calling it the spa at Wynie Mae's. And a lot of people actually were like, well, who's Winnie? I need to talk to Winnie.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is Bekki. But so that's kind of how it all started. And then it evolved into Wynie Mae's. And we do mostly hair here, but we also do spa services as well.
So that's how it started with the what? Yeah. That's really cool. How long has it been open for?
We opened our storefront in 2011 in a different building over on Austin Street. And then we moved to this building in 2013. And my mom had a little store in this front area. There was kind of a wall partition, and it was called the front porch. And she did a lot of cute things and sold local like artist crafts and artist wares that they had. It was fun. And then she did ceramics. You could paint ceramics and things like that. And we had the salon and spa in the back.
So you guys are like very artsy, creative.
Yeah. And maybe like just brave enough to be like, I know just enough to be dangerous, right? Like, I'm like, oh, we'll just take down this wall. No big deal. I'll grab a Sawzall. Everything will be fine. And usually somebody smarter than me comes along and stops me. But when my mom had kind of thought about a career change, I was like, well, let's do this. Let's do this together. I know how to start a business. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but let's try it. And it was great.
Well, it looks like it's going very well. Yeah. I mean, like my wife comes here too. Yeah. She likes it. Apparently my wife knows everything. I don't.
Well, that's how it goes. My husband would say the same thing.
That's the same thing. I do have a question though. And this involves, so me and my wife talk about it a lot. So tell me if this is true as a woman. Do women think all the time? Because there's something with guys where they say like there's moments where we're just thinking about nothing. But is that true? Like, are you guys constantly thinking about something?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I would say in my experience, I mean this in the most loving way, women run circles around men. And that is just because it's not bad. It's not like you're doing something wrong. It's just because we are kind of thinking all the time.
Okay. Now, has it ever happened with your husband when you say something to him or you're talking to him and he just doesn't remember it or it comes out? Tell me I'm not the only one. It does happen?
All the time.
Okay. Because that's what like my wife, Myra, keeps saying. She's like, why? She's telling me something, and then later on, I'm like, I don't remember that. And she says, I just told you. I'm like, no, I swear, I don't remember that. And she says, man, you probably have to go get that checked out. I'm like, no, I think it's the guy thing. Like, we can't multitask. We're focused on one thing. but that's just me.
I think it is a thing. Also, maybe, and it's maybe like my age, I'm 43, but we kind of were brought up and raised like we took care of a lot of things. The women took care of a lot of things. And I work with all ages of people here. And I am seeing a little bit of a shift in the younger generation where there's not all that pressure to take care of everything. But some men just weren't expected to have to do all that. You go to work and you do your thing, and the woman maybe stays home or takes care of the kids or cooks or cleans or plans Christmas or plans Thanksgiving. And it doesn't mean that anybody else is bad or wrong. It's just kind of the way society was. And then we get ingrained to do that. And I think women like efficiency. I have a dear friend here in town who says efficiency is sexy. And she is right. Like, what's the fastest way I can accomplish the most with the least amount of effort to maximize my time, right?
Yeah. See, like,
I don't think guys think that way.
No, this is how I tell Myra. Like I say, I'm not used to this, because I would say back, my ancestors, we were hunting mammoths. There's no mammoths, so that's why, I get distracted. I don't know, that's my excuse.
I can't wait to tell my husband that. Are you hunting mammoths in your brain again?
I know. And then I don't know what it was, but I think we were watching like YouTube videos about, it was like a failed army and stuff like that. And I think there was a guy, he was screaming because there was like a little mouse. So he was on top of the chair, and then the wife has like a broom and everything. And then that's when my wife says, "Didn't you guys used to like hunt mammoths in the back of it?" I'm like, yeah, but I think mice are a little scary sometimes.
They're fast.
Yeah.
I don't want them on me. I know. The battle of the sexes, right?
Yeah, I think that's how it is. Oh, hey, did you, because I looked you up, not being a stalker, I was looking for more info on Wynie Mae. Did you run for office or anything?
I did. I lost.
When was it?
That was in 22.
Oh, it was just recently.
Yep.
What were you running for?
I ran for State House.
Okay.
Yep, State House of Representatives. So it was, at the time, it was me, Chris Casson, and Bill Shorma. And Chris and Bill both beat me, not by very much. But yeah, that was a really amazing experience too.
Why'd you want to get into it?
So I think representation matters. And when I look at, let's just say Vermillion, for example, I see a whole bunch of different kinds of people. I see different levels of education, because we have people that do research, like you, or that work in academia. And we have people that dropped out of high school in 10th grade like me and got their GED. And we see people of every background and ethnicity and heritage. And when I look at Pierre and Washington, let's be real, I don't really see that. And I was thinking about it. A couple people had approached me to run for different offices throughout the years. And I was talking to my sister one day, and I said, I don't really know if I'm like qualified to do this. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a degree in political science. I'm not a lawyer. I don't, whatever. And my sister said, Bekki, you probably have more in common with people in South Dakota and are more accurate representation than the people that actually represent you in Pierre or in Washington. I mean, most people don't have a graduate degree or a political science degree or a ton of experience with whatever. And so I found that kind of interesting, and I thought, well, I should run and just see it. We got to have somebody on the ticket. And also there's not a lot of women in Pierre, and there's a lot more women in South Dakota that are underrepresented. So I just thought, yes, I should do this. And I had an amazing team, and it was a crazy experience, and it was lovely and hard and challenging. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm sad I didn't win, but like, I'm super glad that I did it. I met a lot more cool people, and I learned a lot more about politics at the state level than I knew.
See, I had a very similar experience. I think was it this year? Elections? But it was with the Vermillion City Council stuff. So this year, for some reason, I started being a little more involved in like what's going on.
Good on you.
That's when before they would recognize, like I would go to all the meetings. Like, I just want to see what's going on, because Vermillion for me seems like it's a strange town, only because it's small, but there's a university. There's a whole story behind it. I've talked about it before, but I had some people, they were asking me, they're like, hey, you should run. And first of all, I was like, no, I don't have a political science. I don't know nothing about politics or this and that. And then a few of them kind of got me going on it. And I was like, I guess so. So I was kind of down for it. And then I went to go get that. You got to get the petition, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I found someone that, I think there was like 2 people running in my ward. And I was like, nah, they seem more qualified. And I'm like, I can't do this because also I was checking like the people, for example, like city council. This is how I see it in my eyes. I might be wrong. I see them and I'm like, this person is either like a director of something. This person's like a professor. This person's like a chair. This. I'm like, I'm just like a normal dude that's like 29. I don't even do anything. I'm like, I can't do that. I probably don't know anything. So that I kind of was like, I think I chickened out a little bit.
It's super intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super intimidating.
Because there was one time, though, I remember it, and when I went to the council meetings, I think it was one of the ones they do at 12 p.m.? Yeah.
The noon meeting, yeah.
Yeah, the noon meeting. And I like asking questions, not dumb questions, but they were talking about, parking. Yeah, something about parking or off-street, something like that. And then they mentioned something, and I remember I just said something about like, hey, something about, do you guys, a different suggestion. And like over half of them, not all of them, because some of them are nice, they started laughing. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is the last time I'll say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's so unfortunate.
But I probably just took it a little more, maybe because I'm sensitive. But yeah, I was like, I don't even want to talk to.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the reasons. But besides that, they're all nice. Actually, someone I talked to, it was Jose Dominguez, the engineer. I think one time I said, hey, thanks for not laughing at me. Because he was nice on it.
Yeah. I think that what I noticed about your podcast the very first time that I heard it was that you had such a fresh take because you haven't lived here for a long time. And you're also not afraid to just say like, what's up with that? Why don't we have a Taco Bell, or where did you come from? Or how do you feel about this or that? And I think that's super refreshing. And I really, really like that. I don't know that that I would have ever maybe been that like candid and genuine, and not genuine. Anyway, just that candid and upfront. And I think that's super refreshing. And I think that in a town that's small like this, but that has like the turnover that we have because of jobs or the university or whatever, sometimes people forget that not everybody has lived here a long time. And also that something that you tried 10 years ago might not have worked then, but it might work now. And it's kind of good to have somebody come and kind of challenge those norms a little bit. So I think people like you are such a breath of fresh air to come in and do that. And I'm sorry that you had that experience, but
that's all cool.
Persevere.
I think one example that I think did work is, you know about like we do food sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, also like tomorrow, today's Friday, tomorrow we're selling tamales at the brewery. I think that's our last one. But anyways, that was also one of the things, because a few years ago, since, I say it almost every single time, I'm not from here. I'm from a bigger city in Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth. So when we came up here, we noticed there wasn't traditional Mexican food. There's more Tex-Mex. I'm not opposed to that. I like Tex-Mex. I'm more of the traditional guy though. And then Myra, she's from Mexico. Her brother sells tacos down there. So one of the ideas, like, why don't we do like tacos, but street tacos, not food truck, because they don't. I feel food trucks aren't common in Mexico, or where the place my family's from. I don't see it. Usually it's like people on a cart in the street, or like in a little business.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like a food truck is not very common. So that's why we're like, hey, let's do a street style thing. So that's why I think a few years ago we were in front of the chiropractor, and we were selling food, tacos, and people could see it. And it was kind of cool because some people, I guess they never seen it, like, because they always saw, like, I would be the one chopping, like, you could hear it in downtown, and they liked it, especially the kids. They would like see it and they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So that was one of the things that, hey, they don't have it here, let's try that. And then we started going to the Flourish Flower Farm. And also Myra had the idea, or I think it was both of us. I'm gonna say her because she knows everything about tamales. I'm like, maybe they'll hit off good. Yeah. So that one hit off good. And then I make conchas, which is a sweet bread at the farmer market. That one hit. I think after the Thanksgiving break, there was a little dinner event we did, super, super small. We were doing a trial. Myra made pozole. She made a green and a red version. Something called a guacamaya. It's a bolillo or the bread from a torta, and inside it's like a fried pork rind skins, and then a salsa. Apparently, that was the most popular one. And then the dessert is it's tres leches that I made. So that was one of the
Now I'm
ideas.
hungry.
Yeah, because we're like, there's no like traditional, authentic Mexican food here. Let's try it. So that was one of the things, and it looks like it was working out.
I think so. It like people still talk about it and people get excited. The food trucks at the brewery or even sometimes at the Varsity, they'll have them or wherever. It's catching on, and it's such a small town that it's, we don't have like maybe a big community would, but it's cool the ones we get.
Yeah, I would think that's what surprised me at first, but I guess I gotta get away from the mentality because this place is a little more different. Because I would be thinking, oh, it's college town. There'd be like, in the night, there'll be a bunch of like, for example, like either food trucks or vendors on the street. I'm just used to it over there, but it's also like the bigger population and also the weather. Forget that, there's only a few months that it's fine.
But it's unseasonably warm right now. Well, they used to do like pizza by the slice out of our pizza out of a little window. That was a thing that went on for years. And I've heard tales of the pub having like burritos. Maybe that was only during D days.
Was it the breakfast burrito stuff?
I think so, yeah. Or
And-
maybe like late night burritos too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think also the Eagles Club. But yeah, it was on D-Day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on D-Days, so I never been in downtown during D-Days. And then the year, or I guess this year, we were thinking about, hey, let's just sell food during D-Days because apparently they say, oh, that's where the people make the most money. But then we couldn't because I think something happened. But we're like, let's just pass by. But it was a little more empty than I thought. But then I found out that D-Days was on the same day as Hobo Days.
Yes.
And also the same day as, I think, Dakota Wesleyan. So that's why they said it was probably smaller. So
Yeah, it was definitely a smaller crowd, which is interesting because there was still a lot of people here, but not as many people. Yeah, you have to try it next year. It's great.
Okay, but does it get packed? Like, do people sell food on the street though?
There,
It'd be popular.
in the mornings, again, I remember years ago where there was like breakfast burritos or kegs and eggs type things. There's a lot of coffee or cinnamon rolls, that kind of breakfasty stuff. And then I know this year there was a food truck down by the Varsity. I feel like there used to actually be more bars that did food versus have a food truck. I've been here since 2009, so I'm kind of trying to think. And D-Days gets a little blurry.
Yeah.
It's a little hazy. But that doesn't mean you can't try it and do it again, because people typically start coming down pretty early. And then right before the game, then they kind of clear out.
Okay.
Like people are always hungry. That's one thing people do in this town is they eat.
Yeah, I noticed that, especially when the new restaurants hit up. People like food. Is it true? Maybe, I don't know if it's true, but do a lot of people like eat out every day?
I think so.
Okay, because that's something that's not common. Maybe it's just me and Myra eating out every day. Because I'm like, whoa, that seems expensive. But maybe some people have money for that. But have you tried the Mamacitas or
Yeah.
Nopal?
I haven't done Anopal yet.
We tried El Nopal on Monday or Friday? No, Monday. I think we tried it Monday finally. And between Mamacitas and Nopal, they're both fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say go to either or. They're great. I like both of them.
My husband likes to go out to eat a lot more, and he likes Blue Tequila over in Elk Point too is good. But yeah, I think that you can't really go wrong with the food in town. A little more variety will be good. But I'm so thankful anytime anyone takes the chance to like open a business, whether it's selling tamales or doing a food truck, opening a restaurant. Like anytime someone's brave enough to try something and put themselves out there, I think we'll take it.
What? You got more experience in this. Like throughout your years around here, what causes a business to like close down or not become too successful?
I had a business that I opened right before COVID, and in hindsight, we should have just closed it right at COVID. But I think making sure that when you're in business in Vermillion, you're also in community with Vermillion. Like, I don't think that you can expect to just build something and open it and people will just break down your door. I think you need to get involved with the community and make connections and let people know who you are. I think that makes you more successful. I mean, for as far as the business closing, I sold mine to another business, but I mean, there's like a million things that could happen. You know, there's like, you could have personal financial things, you could have business financial things, it could be health, it could be just moving, family, spouse issues. The businesses that I feel like that have closed in Vermillion since I've been here, the ones that haven't been open very long, I kind of feel like maybe it was timing. We did have a Mexican restaurant that was great, Mi Familia, that had opened over where Hartford Steakhouse is. I'm trying to think how many years ago. Anyways, pre-COVID, I call that the before. But they opened in the summer, and the summer is kind of a hard time here because there's not as many people, because it was good food as well. But yeah, it's hard. I think the restaurant industry in general is hard.
Oh yeah, it seems very hard, and and we don't even own a restaurant, but it is difficult, especially because you would think when you're like, okay, everyone likes to eat, everyone wants to eat, everyone needs to eat, you know, basically on paper, it's like, oh, this would be great. But then, like, for example, with us, I remember weather, since we're outside, weather hits. Or it could be like same thing with timing. It could be in the summer or winter or this and that. Expenses, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, or it's just...
Yeah, you have like fresh produce.
Yeah, ours...
You know, that it's just not good forever. You're not warming stuff up in a microwave and serving it. So that's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Just the amount of waste.
That stuff is just... I didn't think it was going to be that expensive. Overall, it's been fine, but especially because I had the mentality more like, you know, because we buy it, like, for example, the tacos. So we go to Sioux City, get our stuff. We go to one of the carnicerias. We get our meat more, it's fresh. I don't do the for me, maybe it's just me. I don't like the frozen stuff. There was a cool thing was it last year? Yeah. Because we had we did a little bit of the, farming or planting stuff. And I planted tomatillos, serranos, and basically like our salsas, almost everything was like, I guess, fresh.
Yeah.
Except like the onions, because we had to go buy. I was like, oh snap, this is one of those, hey, almost at your...
Yeah, like farm to table.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. But yes, like, it's hard. Now I have more appreciation for like, Silk Road or CC's, like, especially like, for example, CC's that opened up around here, and especially their stuff, because they're more, I think it's I think it's like 100% like homemade. I think like their bread is too, their burger buns, and the stuff is good. You could taste the difference. But man, like, it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But especially because I'm so surprised. You saying you dropped out, but you seem very, very successful from my eyes.
Well, thank you. It's been a lot of hard work. And I learned pretty much everything the hard way, which is kind of the only way that I learn. Sometimes when people are talking about business, or they'll come to me and have an idea, or I'm on the board for the VCDC, and one thing that I like to do is like, how can I help you if you want to start a business? But basically, I don't want to tell you, okay, put your business plan together and make sure you have this and that. What I want to tell you is like, here's what not to do. Let me save you some time. Let me save you some mistakes. But I had a lot of good support. Like, when I decided to open up the salon, my husband is from here. He's a townie, I guess. And I guess if you marry a townie, then maybe you become a townie. I don't know. Maybe people would argue. I don't know. So I knew a lot of people that way. My mom lived here at the time. And I had already made a lot of friends here through my husband that were just in the community, and then also working at USD. And people did want to support, which was helpful. But I also there used to be a program or a group of people called the Downtown Vermillion Action Team. Mm-hmm. And that is who started Thursdays on the Plots, Ribs, Rods, and Rock and Roll. I think I'm pretty sure that that's the group that kind of started all those, or they all started together. And then slowly that stuff got kind of turned over to the chamber to take over, or like Ribs and Rods got their own committee. Mm-hmm. But getting really involved in that, I co-chaired that with Emily Sudbeck, who used to own Wilson Florist. That's no longer open. But so I think that really helped, but it was hard, like super hard. I remember one month, one of my first months in business, I made $700 and my rent was $700. Yeah, right. And like that didn't count like my phone or my electricity or my product. And I was just able to keep going and kind of plugging away at it. And I've had a lot of good people that have come to work with me and also for me. Some of the people that have worked for me have gone on to open up their own, open up their own salons, which is lovely in the long run. It's really an awesome thing. And I think that the timing when I opened, there wasn't as much going on, and we were maybe the first place where you could do like a facial, a massage, a body treatment, waxing, and hair all together. I think there had been that in town before and since, but right at that time, I get lucky a lot.
It does. Sometimes it is that luck, that timing, because it's hard, but also maybe connection. Well, overall, great service. I mean, why do you think yours is going strong?
I think the team that I have that works with me and supports me and our clients for sure. I don't think I'm the best hairstylist in town. I don't think that's why people come to me. I think people come to me because they like me and I like them, and we like visiting and shooting the breeze. Somebody told me once, I've never met a stranger, which I would say that about you too. Like some people, we just connect and we just talk to people and we're easy to talk to. And I think that's why people like coming here. I think they like the experience. I mean, I think that you can get great hair done here too, but we also try to be like inventive and innovative. We got a scalp spa, which you just have to Google it. It's so cool. It's like having your hair washed, like the most luxurious, relaxing scalp massage and neck massage ever. Oh, I want one right now. And so like investing the money and putting that out there, people I think appreciate that. And Vermillion knows if you want it to stay, you have to support it. And also marketing to other communities too. Like Vermillion can almost sustain itself, and in most cases does. But what's really helpful is when people from Sioux City come here because they want to get their hair done, or they want to go grab some food because they've heard about one of the many great restaurants, or they want to go check out the brewery or Wimps or something like that. Like one of those restaurants or experiences that they've heard about, and we get kind of some of that regional money that comes to town. We have clients that come from Sioux City, Sioux Falls, and Yankton, Tabor, Tyndall, kind of all the way around. And I think that helps. They also will shop when they're here. So I think that helps some of the retail. And I tell people, like, you don't have to get your hair done here, but please get it done in town. And it maybe that like camaraderie maybe helps too. Like I have a sign in the bathroom that says a flower doesn't think about competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms. And one time Ted Munster, which you have got to interview him. Is
he the one that, or is that what the muck is named after?
Yes.
Okay.
I cannot wait. You have to get him on your podcast. He told me years ago, the tide rises all ships. And I really took that to heart, because in starting out in business, I was like, oh, what if there is so many salons or so many whatever? But really, it just makes everything better. We could have many of everything, and it just makes everybody try harder. It makes you up your game a little bit, and it makes you want to do better for your community. And I think then everybody wins. I don't know. That was a really long answer to a short question.
No, I would say, this is my advice to people. If they want to do something, I say, hey, just do it. This is what I say. When people there's some people that, they want to do something, but they're kind of waiting. They want to make sure that maybe they want to get the right equipment, right setup, or this and that. I'm like, hey, sometimes you got to start small. Start small. Yes. Because then what's the point? Like, I'll give you I don't know if this is a good example. There's a lot of like kids. They want to become YouTubers or TikToks or streamers. I'm more familiar with streamers or YouTubers. They want to do that. So they want, they need this high-end PC. They get a good, nice setup and this and that. But their content is not that great. And I remember there's another YouTuber. His name is Marquez. He does tech. And he was giving advice. He says, hey, it doesn't matter the equipment you have or this and that. It's the content. Because if you have good content, people, keep on listening, and then that's when you grow. But what's the point of having like super fancy stuff if you don't know what you're kind of doing? I say that's why. Start small.
Yes, that's such great advice.
Mm.
Yeah. I would say that's kind of what we did too. I started in a little tiny area with 2 rooms and 2 chairs, and then expanded, to a bigger space. And I think if we would have started out the opposite way, we wouldn't have been able to stay open.
So I'm going to go, this is where I get off topic a lot. This is where the robot AI comes out. Do you guys see that happening with y'all stuff in the future? Like
No.
having a, no? Okay.
No, and that's one crazy thing. So I went to hair school when I was in my early 20s, and I bartended. I lived out west in Rapid City, and one thing that I thought was you should have an economy-proof career. I never thought that I would have my own salon or that I would whatever. I don't even know what I thought I was going to do. But no matter how bad the economy gets or how many robots come for us, you will always, people will always drink and they will always get their hair cut. So if you know how to do one of those 2 things, you're likely going to be fine. I'm not saying that should be your career choice because of that reason, but I don't know anybody that's ready to stick their head in a machine and let a robot cut their hair just yet.
I don't know. That you mentioned that does sound a little scary.
Yeah, and I think people like the personal touch of that. We learned during COVID and shut down how many people missed going to the salon and getting their services done, whatever it was, even if they weren't going out and seeing anybody. There's just something, I don't know, special about it. It's like therapy.
It is, because so I don't do it here now. My wife cuts my hair, but back home I would go to the barbershop.
Yeah,
and it was very, very relaxing because I don't know how it is. Maybe it's the same. Maybe the barbershop is the same as the salon, but there's the guys talking, barbers talking, they ask you stuff. Feels like therapy.
yeah,
And it feels good after you get it. Well, for the guy, after you get it all good, you get your taper fade, you're like, oh, it's nice.
yeah.
Because when I was a kid, so my mom used to cut my hair, let's say all the way till freshman year. I hated it. I remember as a little kid, I would not want my haircut. I would cry. I'd be one of the kids that would cry. I would hate it. And then I went through that phase where, I did have short hair, but then I went through that phase in middle school, 8th grade, where it was long hair.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say are you familiar with the Harry Potter movies?
Yep, a little bit.
So it's the 4th Harry Potter movie, Goblet of Fire, because you can follow the phases between the characters each year. It's when Ron and Harry, they have that long hair.
Yep.
And that's when I had the long hair. Almost all the guys had long hair. And, and then I had, for some reason, I don't know how it worked. My hair's usually straight, but then I grew it out and it became curvy or wavy. And then I straightened my hair. And I remember my dad and my mom saying, no, don't straighten your hair. And for some reason, I thought it was a cool thing. So I went through that skater phase too. I didn't know how to skate. You wear those tight, skinny jeans. You got long hair, a little bit of baggy clothes.
Yeah.
I had glasses too. And then freshman year, I was like, man, I need to get a haircut. But I wanted them to trim it, not by a lot. So I went to this, I don't know what it was called. I think it was Supercuts. And I showed him a picture, and it was either a picture of George Lopez or Enrique Iglesias. I don't know, it was just a shorter, I thought it looked nice. And they butchered my hair. Horrible.
Haircut trauma.
Yeah, it was. And then she said, how does it look? And she said, did you like it? I'm like, I don't. And I cried. I was like, oh man, what happened? So I was in the shower. I was like, I gotta do something. And then when I got out of the shower, you dry my hair, and my hair was sticking up. And I was like, let me use some gel. So I started spiking it up. And that's when it was the same thing. It was that phase. It was a style when people were spiking it up. So it
You saved it.
Yeah, I kind of saved it. It was longer, and then later on I would get it shorter. And then a friend of mine would say, hey, ask for, go to this barbershop. It's called Tom's Barbershop. It's an old school one. And he said, ask for him for a taper fade. And get like I think a 5. So that's when I started having the same haircut since freshman year.
Just like it, stick with it.
Yeah. All right. Like, and then I'll grow, like you'll see me, like I'll grow it out, but now I don't have it long. Once it starts bothering me, then I'm like, get it out.
There's some, like, guys will come in sometimes every 2 weeks, sometimes every 3 weeks, and almost always every 4 weeks for a haircut, depending on. And I think the trick with men's cuts, usually they don't want it to ever look like they had a haircut. Like, it's always just the same, like keep it the same, or maybe try something a little bit. But I always want to look like, want my neck trimmed up. I want it over my ears, whatever. And oftentimes women are like, I'm gonna get my hair did. You know, sometimes depending on what your goal is, maybe you don't want it to look like you had your hair done. But most of the time, women are like, I want somebody to notice this. I want somebody to say something. And guys are like, keep me looking the same all the time. That's why they come in so consistently. And we do actually a lot of men's cuts here, which is kind of fun. Yeah. We have such an array of people that come here, like from as their first haircut to, I think there was a gal in here the other day, maybe like a month and a half ago, and she was 102 years old. Yeah, her kids brought her in for a haircut. She was so interesting to talk to, and I wish I would have asked her more questions, what it was like to be 102 years old. But the conversations that will happen, like sometimes it's quiet and chill. Usually I am blabbing and everybody else is talking. But sometimes we might have a 11-year-old in one chair, and we might have a 45-year-old guy in another chair, and we might have an 82-year-old in Lisa's chair, and I don't know, a 31-year-old in another chair, and everyone just like visiting with each other. They don't necessarily know each other, but maybe finding this commonality in like a USD football game, or they all love cats, or they're all excited to go to the next movie that's coming out or whatever, is one of those fun things that kind of happens. Like when you're talking about like that, like a barbershop culture, you know, sometimes people just come in and hang out. And I always tell people, like, you just need to come in and have a cup of coffee and decompress a little. Come on in.
You're right. Because they also do hang out at that barbershop too. Like, yeah, they'll go in there and then they're like, hey, what's up, man? What's up, man? And they don't get their haircut, but they just hang out.
Just hanging out. Yeah. There's people that stop in sometimes and just say, I just need to sit here for a couple minutes. I've got a meeting that I need to go to, or I just need to chill, or I just need to relax. And we're like, hey, do you want some coffee, water, or tea? There's a chair open. You're welcome to it. And it's always fun because you just never really know. This window looking out Main Street is like a TV screen to the world. Like sometimes the funniest stuff is happening out there too. Yeah. During D-Days, it's especially fun. Like you could sit in here and do a live commentary of the bananas things you see outside this window. But like Vermillion just happens right outside this window. And I can't imagine being anywhere else other than right here downtown with like watching it all happen.
So what's the next steps? What plans do you have for the future? Open up another salon?
No. I think I would like to work until I can't. I think that I always will do that. We live on the river now. We have sold our acreage and we're just down at the river and kind of slowing down and relaxing a little bit more, spending time with family and friends. My 30s were bananas and my early 40s were pretty insane too. And so kind of just slowing down and making time to hang out with people and being social. And I need to do more volunteering and kind of get more involved that way. I would love if someday the stylists that are here take over the salon and keep it going. Until then, we'll always continue to try to bring awesome services to Vermillion. So, excuse me, people don't have to leave town to go find cool things. I'd like to support more businesses getting started. I've consulted for a couple places. Just, again, things that I would save you time. Don't worry about that. Don't do this wrong like I did. And if I could continue to help businesses get started in any way that I can, like that, I think is something I'd like to do. And then just I'm enjoying Vermillion, just like chilling out.
It is chill here. It's very calm.
Sometimes it's bonkers, but this is a nice day.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Did you hear about on Christmas Eve, someone was robbing packages?
We were just talking about that this morning. Nadine Zimmerman had her packages robbed, and she caught it like on her Ring camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her husband's like a retired police officer.
Did they catch the guy?
I don't know if they've caught him yet. Wynnette was just telling me about it today, and that is such a not Vermillion thing. Like, that is such a not Vermillion thing. That's not a Vermillion value.
Because there was I think it was 2 houses, right? 2 houses, or I saw 2 cameras, different places. Because there was one video where the guy had a bike and he took the package, and the other one where he was just kind of walking and there's some lights and kind of tripped over it a little bit. But yeah, I was like, who
does that?
Yeah, especially on Christmas Eve. I'm like, come on.
I will say, if you are the person who stole those packages, like, go put them back or bring them down here and drop them off. And if you needed something so bad you had to steal, like, come talk to me and I'll help you out. But don't steal. And that goes for anybody. Like, if you need something in this town, you need something for a Christmas present, you need diapers, you need food. If you don't know who to go to get help, like, come stop at the Salon and I will help you connect with those people, because there is a ton of awesome people in this town that will help you. You don't have to steal. And also, like, just don't be, I won't even say the word. Don't be a a-hole. Don't steal people's stuff.
Yeah, especially on Christmas Eve and then kids stuff. I'm like, oh, snap. You know what's funny? So, me and my were talking about when I saw it, and then my daughter, she hears it, and then she says, did you know in other countries they chop their thumbs off for stealing? And then and then I was talking to my parents about that, and then my dad's like, they should just cut the whole arm off. I'm like, just look at that.
A little extreme, but maybe that's,
So we have to learn.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9.
Oh, what a fun age.
Yeah.
Like, figuring all sorts of things out and have great questions.
Now she is. She has like a lot of questions. Then for Christmas, on Christmas Day, we had a friend over. So he worked in the same lab as me as a postdoc, smart guy. His name's Mark. I'm gonna have him on, I think, next week. This guy's a genius, I swear. But he reminds me of like Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like, you could talk about any subject about science, but he explains it and he doesn't make you feel dumb.
I love that.
It's amazing. But every time he comes over, we talk about some science stuff. And she's talking about, she asks questions about like aging or like, what happened before the universe with the Big Bang or time travel, this and that. I'm like, this is.
I love that. The curiosity of kids those ages. Yeah. I like to ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, and like their answers range from like, I want to be a ninja to a doctor, or there's one little girl in town that wants to be a hair cutter, which is pretty sweet. We'll see if that sticks past 2nd grade. But yeah, kids are so interesting. And I think like when you live in a town like this, as opposed to a big city, not that you don't meet those same amount of people, but like your daughter can talk to so many people and ask so many questions and have them answered by really smart people. That's like another cool thing about Vermillion.
It's cool.
It's like a web of amazingness.
She said, I think it's my fault. Because Myra said it's my fault. Because everything's my fault. Because she said what she wants to be when she grows up. So she gave me these options. She said she wants to be an orthopedic surgeon, an orthodontist, mechanical engineer, and now she's thinking about like a lawyer stuff.
Good on her.
And then I remember asking her like, why? She said it makes the most money. I'm like, money's not important. And then Myra's like, you're the one that told her that, be a doctor. I'm like, oh, my bad. No, but be whatever you want. It was back then. Back then I was like, yeah, you should be, you should make the most money. But no, I changed. Yeah, no, do whatever you want.
Guess what?
Have fun.
You can be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as
you do anything, you just can't do everything.
Yeah.
Now,
because I need to end this because I need to take my wife out for lunch.
Oh, I love that.
What is there any last things, shout outs, or anything you want to give out?
Oh, you for starting this podcast and doing this. I think it's so amazing. Like, a fresh take on Vermillion is so, for me personally, I love it because I was new to Vermillion so long ago that I kind of forget what it's like to be new in town. And you've given me that perspective again. And I think that you help other people realize that not everybody's from here or just automatically knows things. Not everybody knows to go here, to call here, to do this or to do that. And just the Vermillion community in general is pretty freaking amazing. You know, it's pretty supportive. The businesses are supportive and the community is supportive. I came here to visit my mom for Christmas in 2007 and I never left. Yeah, I call it the Vermillion Vortex. Like, it's a thing, and it gets people. There is something so special about this area and this town. I mean, every town has their crap, but just Vermillion is so amazing. And I cannot thank Vermillion and the people in it and around it and the people that support those of us with different ideas and things that we want to do. Like yay, high five to everybody.
Sweet. I'll try to keep it going.
I'm going to interview you for a podcast.
That's what Myra says, but I say I'm not interesting. I have interesting stories of other people, but I'm not interesting.
I think you might be more interesting than you think.
We'll do that.
And you give yourself credit for.
We'll do that on a round 2.
Okay. We'll flip it.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm down with that.
I like this. You know, there's some people, Katie Heine would be great to interview you.
Okay.
Have her. We could team up. We could tag team.
After this segment, I'll tell you the idea that I got.
I like it. And you need to have Ted Munster.
All right. I'll contact him.
Such a hoot.
Sweet. All right. I want to thank you so much, Bekki.
Thank you. This has been so great.